Hi Nana. See, in our previous video, we have learned some concepts regarding alkalis. Now, in this video, we will learn some more points about alkalis. So, first of all, we will learn about the classification of bases or alkalis. What is the difference between base and alkali? Bases, bases of two types. Okay, one type of base is water soluble base and another type of base is water insoluble base. Water soluble bases are called as alkalis, whereas water insoluble bases simply they are called as bases only. So if I mention here bases, so we have to understand that it is water insoluble, and if I mention as alkalis, then it is said to be water soluble base. Okay, right. So now we will learn about the classification of bases or alkalis. So there are different types of classifications. Okay, there are different types of classifications of alkalis. So the first type of classification is based on what? Strength. The first type of classification is based on strength. The second type of classification is based on the concentration. And the third type of classification is based on the acidity. What is strength? What is meaning of strength? Strength is nothing but degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation of the base in aqueous solutions. The degree of dissociation of the base in aqueous solution. Okay, the degree of dissociation of the base in the aqueous solution. So while we were learning about the acids, so we have learned about the degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation means the extent of dissociation. The extent of dissociation. What is the meaning of dissociation? Dissociation means breaking down. Dissociation means breaking down or else ionization. Generally, base, it is represented like this. Generally, base is represented like this. BOH, or sometimes it may be represented as MOH also, but in majority of cases we use BOH only. So base is represented like this, BOH. So this when base or else when alkali, if it is water soluble base, then in the presence of water, so this base will ionize, or else this base will break down into B plus OH minus ions. Okay, so here this base will dissociate, or this base will ionize, or this base will break down into ions. So the process of breaking down of one molecule into its ions, so that process is said to be ionization, or simply we can call it as dissociation. Ionization or dissociation. So during the process of dissociation, a base, any base or any alkali, it produces OH minus ions. Okay, so here the strength of the base is decided by the number of OH minus ions produced by that by one molecule of this one. So the number of OH minus ions given by the base, it is the measure of the strength of the base. So it is nothing but degree of dissociation. So degree of dissociation, it is generally denoted by a Greek letter alpha, as we have seen in the case of acids also we have seen this alpha. What is the value of alpha? How alpha can be obtained? Alpha is nothing but the number of see one thing before learning this one. Suppose I have taken an suppose this is water, and into that water I have added some alkali. So what happens? So this alkali will break down into ions like this in water. Okay. Suppose if I add 100 molecules of alkali. Sometimes all the 100 molecules will break down like this. Sometimes only 10 molecules may break down, or else sometimes only 30 molecules may break down, and remain 70 molecules remain as it is without ionization. Okay, it depends upon the nature of the base which we have added into this water. So depending upon the nature of the alkali, so that alkali molecules will undergo variously. Some alkali molecules, all the alkali molecules will undergo ionization, but some type of alkali molecules, only very few molecules may undergo ionization, and all other molecules remain unionized. So this is called as unionized form, and this is called as ionized form of the base. So it is unionized form of the base, and this is what? Ionized form of the base. That means all the ions may not undergo dissociation, or else all the molecules may not undergo ionization. Sometimes all the molecules may undergo ionization. So it depends upon the nature of the alkali which we have taken. So in that case, so based on the nature of the alkali, we can find the degree of dissociation of that alkali. How to write the degree of dissociation? What is the formula of degree of dissociation? Degree of dissociation is also called as extent of dissociation or extent of ionization. So now we will learn the formula used to find the degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation is alpha is equal to number of dissociated alkali molecules. So here, out of, for example, 30 molecules are decomposed. Let us assume 30 molecules. Out of 100 molecules, only 30 molecules have ionized, and the 70 molecules are unionized. They remain as molecules only in the solution. How many? 70. And how many molecules have been converted into ions? Only 30 molecules have been converted into ions. Let us assume. So in that case, how to find the degree of dissociation of this alkali? So to find the degree of dissociation of the alkali, then alpha is equal to number of dissociated alkali molecules, number of dissociated alkali molecules alkalis Li. Okay, number of dissociated alkali molecules by total number of alkali molecules taken. Okay, total number of alkali molecules taken into 100. So in this case, Suppose we have taken 100 molecules here, and out of 100 only 30 molecules have undergone ionization. 70 molecules they did not undergo ionization. Those 70 molecules they remain as it is in the solution. So in that case, what is the degree of ionization of that alkali? So we can find by using this formula how many number of dissociated alkali molecules, how many 30 molecules have been dissociated out of 100 molecules. So number of dissociated alkali molecules are 30 by total number of alkali molecules taken. How many molecules we have taken? 100 molecules we have taken. 30 by 100 into 100 into 100. So what is the degree of dissociation? It is 30%. The degree of dissociation of this alkali which we have taken, it is only 30%. Suppose if we take 150 molecules, let us assume, if we take 150 molecules, out of 150 molecules, only 45 molecules have dissociated, and how much is left over? 105 molecules, they are not ionized. Okay, so out of 150 molecules, only 45 molecules have ionized and 105 molecules are unionized. Then what is the degree of dissociation of that alkali which we have taken? Then again we have to use the same formula. So how many molecules have been dissociated? 45 molecules. How many molecules we have taken altogether? How many molecules we have taken altogether? 150 molecules. Okay. So what is the degree of dissociation in this case also? The degree of dissociation in this case also 30% only. Suppose if you take 200 molecules and only 40 molecules are dissociated. Out of 200 molecules, only 40 molecules are dissociated. Then what is the degree of dissociation of this base? Some other base. So we have to keep on changing the base, different types of alkalis we are using here. So in one type of alkali, we have taken 200 molecules of another type of alkali. Out of 200 molecules, only 40 molecules have been ionized, and remaining 160 molecules, they remained as molecules only without undergoing ionization. So in such case, what is the degree of ionization of that alkali which we have taken? So to find the degree of dissociation, again we have to use the same formula. Okay, so how many molecules have been ionized? 40 molecules are ionized, and we have taken altogether 200 molecules. Okay, so into 100, 2 zeros, 2 ones are 2 20s. How much percentage? Only 20% of degree of dissociation. Okay, the degree of dissociation of this alkali which we have taken in the last case. So its degree of dissociation is 20% only. So in this way, degree of dissociation is the measure of strength of the base we have taken. So like that, the strength of the base can be decided. Okay, the strength of the base is measured based on the degree of dissociation. Okay, generally here this is the important thing we need to learn. Generally, if alpha value is either equal to or less than 30%, that means if degree of dissociation of an acid is less than 30% or equal to 30%, then I mean here the base. Okay, if it is less than or equal to 30%, it is it is less than 30%, then that alkali is said to be weak alkali. Weak alkali. If the degree of dissociation is greater than or equal to 30%, then that alkali is said to be strong alkali. Okay, so like this, based on the strength or based on the degree of dissociation, the bases can be classified into two types. What are the two types? Weak alkalis and strong alkalis. What are weak alkalis? What are weak alkalis? The alkalis which undergo incomplete ionization. So only less than 30% of molecules are ionized. Okay, only less than 30% of molecules are ionized. They are broken down. So that means very partial ionization. That means not complete molecules. All the molecules do not undergo complete ionization. That means all the molecules do not undergo ionization. When all the molecules undergo ionization, then it is said to be complete ionization. Suppose if you have taken 200 molecules, and all the 200 molecules, if they undergo ionization, then it is said to be complete ionization. Okay, if you have taken 100 molecules, if all the 100 molecules undergo ionization out of molecules, that means all the molecules if undergo ionization, it is said to be complete ionization. Okay, suppose if it is less than 100, then it is said to be incomplete ionization. If it is less than 30, then it is said to be partial ionization. It is said to be partial ionization. If it is less than 30%, then it is said to be partial ionization. So the alkalis which undergo partial ionization, in aqueous solution, if it undergo partial ionization, then what happens? Less number of OH minus ions are formed. Very less number of OH minus ions are formed. It forms very less number of OH minus ions are formed. Okay, when very less number of OH minus ions are there in the solution, then such a alkali is said to be weak alkali. Such alkali is said to be weak alkali. What is strong alkali then? Strong alkali means here, if more number of molecules ionized, that means minimum 30 molecules out of 100 molecules should undergo ionization. Out of 100 molecules, minimum 30 molecules should undergo ionization. So in that case, that alkali is said to be strong alkali. And here what happens? More number of or else large number of OH minus ions. OH minus ions are formed in the solution. In the solution. Okay. So when more number of OH minus ions are present, okay, then such alkali is said to be strong alkali. If less number of OH minus ions are present, then that alkali is said to be weak alkali. Okay. So in this way, we can define alkalis as we can classify alkalis as strong alkalis and weak alkalis. So here the strength of an alkali, it depends upon the degree of dissociation. The strength of the alkali depends upon what? Degree of dissociation, alpha. Okay, let us learn some examples of weak bases and strong bases. Weak bases and strong bases. Let us learn examples of weak bases and strong bases. First we will learn the examples of weak bases. Weak bases. ammonium hydroxide NH4OH. Ammonium hydroxide is a weak base. What happens here? This will ionize. Incomplete ionization. For incomplete ionization we have to use double arrow. Suppose if there is complete ionization we have to use only single arrow like this. For complete ionization we have to use single arrow, only one direction. But for incomplete ionization we have to use arrow like this, bidirectional. That means forward and backward also we have to use. Okay, so weak bases means incomplete ionization only. Weak bases always you will find incomplete ionization. So what happens? It produces NH4 plus OH minus ions. But the OH minus ions present which are produced are very less in number. Hence it is said to be weak base. Ammonium hydroxide will produce only very less number of OH minus ions in the solution. Hence ammonium hydroxide is said to be weak base or else weak alkali. Weak alkali, because we are discussing about ionization. So only alkalis will undergo ionization, because only alkalis will dissolve in water, and the substance which is dissolved in water only will undergo ionization, and the bases do not undergo ionization. Okay, so hence we have to use the word alkali only here. Weak alkali. Another example for weak alkali is calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide, it also undergo ionization, very weak ionization. That means less than 30% of molecules only will undergo ionization and produce very less number of OH minus ions. Very less number of OH minus ions are formed. So, of course, every molecule will produce two OH minus ions. In this case, here only one. Every molecule will produce only one OH minus ions. But here, the nature of this substance we have to consider. So it will undergo, out of 100 molecules, only 30 molecules or else less than 30 molecules will undergo ionization. Remaining 70 and more molecules, they remain unionized. Hence we are considering this calcium hydroxide as a weak alkali. So that means the degree of dissociation is important. So alpha value is less than 30. Here also alpha value is less than 30. Okay, magnesium hydroxide, MgOH taken twice. Even its alpha value is also less than 30. It will also break down into Mg plus 2 and 2OH minus. So we have to consider that degree of dissociation of the substance. Okay, so every molecule will produce 2OH minus, no doubt. But here, out of 100 molecules, less than 30 molecules are only undergoing ionization. Okay, it may be 10 molecules, or else it may be 20 molecules, or else it may be 25 molecules. But less than 30 molecules out of 100 molecules will only undergo ionization. That is why this substance is said to be weak alkali. Okay, generally alkalis, they undergo ionization and produce ions, and ions of this type. Okay, and common thing is all the alkalis will produce OH minus ions in the aqueous solution. Okay, so these are some of the examples of weak alkalis. So all these alkalis, they undergo very less amount of ionization. That means out of 100 molecules, less than 30 molecules are undergoing ionization. Their alpha value is less than 30 only. Now let us learn about the strong alkalis. Strong alkalis. If you take examples of strong alkalis, potassium hydroxide, it undergo complete ionization. Okay, it undergo complete ionization. That means no molecule of KOH remain in the solution. If I take 100 molecules of KOH, if I take 100 molecules of KOH, all the 100 molecules undergo dissociation. 100 molecules break down into all 100 molecules break down into ions. So in that case only we have to consider as complete ionization. So when complete ionization is there, then we have to use only single arrow. Suppose only 95 molecules are, suppose if there are only 95 molecules ionized, then what we have to use? So we have to use double arrow. In that case also we have to use double arrow, because there are some molecules which are left unionized. If only 95 molecules out of 100 molecules undergo ionization, then also we have to use the double arrow only, because here it is incomplete ionization. 5 molecules they remained in the solution without undergoing ionization. Okay, got it. So in most of the cases generally 100 out of 100 molecules may not undergo ionization. Very few molecules they remain in the solution without ionized. Okay, in many of the cases, but only in very few cases all 100 molecules may undergo ionization. So that is why in general we use double arrow. So here as this is a strong acid, as this is a strong alkali, so definitely the dissociated molecules will be greater than 30 molecules out of 100 molecules. Out of 100 molecules, compulsory more than 30 molecules will undergo ionization. Okay, as such alkalis are said to be strong alkalis. Okay, another example, sodium hydroxide. Even this is also strong alkali. It also produces Na plus OH minus ion, and these two will undergo almost complete ionization. As we are using almost complete, hence we have to use this double-headed arrow like this, or else 2 half arrows, so forward and backward. So like this, these are examples of strong alkalis. Okay, on the basis of degree of dissociation only, alkalis are classified into weak alkalis and strong alkalis. Okay, the degree of dissociation of an alkali is called the strength of an alkali. What is strength of the alkali? Strength of the alkali is nothing but degree of dissociation. Strength of the alkali is equal to degree of dissociation. Strength of the alkali is equal to what? Degree of dissociation. So if the degree of dissociation is less than 30, then the strength is said to be, it is weak. The degree of dissociation is minimum 30 and above 30 or above 30, then the alkali is said to be strong alkali. So in this way, alkalis can be classified into strong alkalis and weak alkalis based on what? Based on the degree of dissociation. So in this way, alkalis can be classified. This is the classification based on the strength. Now we learn about the classification based on the concentration. Classification based on the concentration. So here based on the strength, alkalis are classified into 2 types. What are they? Weak alkalis and strong alkalis. Weak alkalis and strong alkalis. Right? Next type of classification is based on the concentration. What is the concentration? Concentration is nothing but the measure of amount of water. The measure of amount of water taken. The amount of, the measure of amount of water taken. See, if water is more in the alkali solution, if water is more, then such type of alkali is said to be dilute alkali. So here the concentration, based on the concentration, so alkalis are again divided into two types. What are they? Dilute alkali and concentrated alkali. So what is concentration? Concentration is nothing but what? The amount of substance, the amount of base present in 1 liter of the amount of alkali. You will take alkali. The amount of alkali present in 1 liter of alkali solution. 1 liter of alkali solution is said to be concentration. Generally, amount of alkali, it is measured in moles. It is measured in number of moles. Okay, that means number of moles of alkali present in 1 liter of solution is called as concentration. It's called as concentration. So remember that concentration is directly proportional to number of moles of alkali. Okay, suppose if number of moles of alkali is more, then that solution is said to be concentrated solution. What is concentrated solution? The concentrated solution, concentrated alkali solution. What is the meaning of concentrated alkali solution? If the number of moles are more, if the number of moles of alkali are more, okay, that means here if the number of moles of alkali is high percentage, or else more is high percentage, okay, in the solution. So in the solution, then such a alkali solution is said to be concentrated alkali solution. That means the alkali solution, if the number of moles of alkali is more, such a solutions are said to be concentrated alkali solutions. Then what is dilute alkali solution? What is dilute alkali solution? Dilute alkali solution. Here dilute alkali solution, the number of moles of alkali is less, it will be less. The number of moles of alkali is less. The number of moles of alkali is less. Then what is more? But the amount of water is more. The amount of water is more. Okay, but the amount of water is more. The number of moles of alkali is less, but the amount of water is more. Okay, more. such solution is said to be, okay, in the solution. Okay, so such solution is said to be dilute alkali solution. In dilute alkali solution, so the amount of alkali is less, but the amount of water is more. In this case, in concentrated alkali solution, the amount of alkali is more, okay, and the amount of water is less. Generally, if an alkali solution, remember, if an alkali solution has a concentration less than 1 mole per liter. Remember, if the concentration is less than 1 mole per liter, then it is said to be dilute alkali. That means here number of moles is less. Number of moles of alkali is less than 1 mole per every 1 liter. Suppose listen. So this is water. Okay, 1 liter of water. Into 1 liter of water, I have added 1 mole of NaOH, an alkali. 1 mole of an alkali. So how much amount of water I have taken? 1 liter of water. So now I can say that here the concentration after addition of this one, it will undergo ionization. Now the concentration is said to be 1 mole per liter of solution. So it will form, both of them will mix together. Which one? Both of them means water and NaOH mixed together to form a solution. Now what is the concentration of the solution? The concentration of solution is said to be, now here it is said to be 1 mole per liter. 1 mole per liter. What is the meaning of 1 mole per liter? That means 1 mole of this one is present in 1 liter of water. That means it is forming 1 liter of solution. So in 1 liter of solution, how much amount of NaOH is present? 1 mole of NaOH is present. So in that case, the concentration is said to be 1 mole per liter. Suppose if I add 2 moles of NaOH in 1 liter of solution, then it is said to be that the concentration is said to be 2 mole per liter. The concentration is said to be 2 mole per liter. Okay. Suppose if I add 5 moles of NaOH in 1 liter of water, then the concentration is said to be how much? 5 moles per liter. 5 moles per liter. Suppose, listen, if I take 2 liters of water, and into 2 liters of water I have added 5 moles of NaOH, then what will be the concentration? Then the concentration is how much? How many moles I have taken? 2 moles. And how many liters of solution is formed? Sorry, how many moles of NaOH I have taken? 5 moles. And how many liters of solution is formed? 2 liters. So how much it is? It will be equal to, the concentration is said to be 2.5 mole per liter. Now the concentration is said to be 2.5 mole per liter. Okay, so when the concentration is more than 1 mole per liter,